Hey, this is Angela again, and I just did the video about being awakened from a nightmare. And so, what I want to talk about real quick, because I got to go back to sleep, but is if you're living a nightmare. You know, because I'm kind of, like, you could say that I'm living a nightmare right now, but, and there's a lot of people I talk to and listen to lately, and they're kind of living a nightmare. And in my coping with my nightmarish things, because according to the world, yes, you know, things are not good here, but I have a living hope. And I have something that the world doesn't have. The world doesn't have Jesus. The world rejects him. And so I am okay, but there's a lot of people that have Jesus, but they still are living a nightmare. And, you know, I got saved when I was 7 years old, but I lived a nightmare at different times because I was fighting God. I wasn't yielding to his work in my life, and I didn't exercise the opportunities. I didn't use the opportunities I was given to exercise my faith. I used those opportunities to doubt, you know. Even Thomas, one of the 12 disciples, doubted the resurrection of Jesus, and Jesus was very patient with him, and he appeared to him. And, well, the first time that the disciples were together in the upper room and Jesus appeared, actually Thomas was not there. So when they told him, Thomas, Jesus is risen, he said, I don't believe you, and I'm not going to believe you until you show me the scars in his hands. He shows me himself, the scars in his hands and the wound in his side. And then, so, a few days later, a week later, Jesus appeared again in the upper room with the disciples. This time, Thomas was there. And he told him, feel my hands, see my scars, reach your hand in my side. And he told him, do not doubt. Believe. And he is patient with us, and he, you know, he'll appear to us in the way that we let him, if we're seeking him. Instead, this is what I did a lot. I would run and try to hide from God. Like, he couldn't see my innermost thoughts and fears. Like, he couldn't see that my secret sins, to me, they were secret. He couldn't see my doubts. He sees and knows our hearts. So let's stop running from him, and let's let him in. And then we focus on our problems, and we talk about our problems, and we tell everybody our problems, and we are always going around. And in my seeking of the Lord and the things that he has revealed to me, through many different ways, other teachers of the word, other speakers, preachers, books, but mostly his word itself and his voice speaking to me. Because I have heard it taught before, you know, God's bigger than all your problems. You know, stop telling your problems and stop telling God how big your problems are, and start telling your problems how big your God is. And I say, yes, I believe that. I believe that. That sounds wonderful. I believe that. But then you don't put it into practice. I'm not talking you, okay. I hope you understand where I'm coming from. I'm talking about me. You know, matter of fact, I'm videoing myself. But that's what I have done a lot of times. I think things sound good, and I agree with them, and I believe them. I say I believe them. And that's where we talk about the difference between faith and belief. You know, faith is really putting your money where your mouth is here. It's when you say, yes, you believe something, and then you do the opposite. No, that's what a hypocrite is. Or a hypocrite is somebody that says they believe just for the appearance of believing, but they don't believe any more than the non-believer, because they don't do what the word says. And that's what puts so many people off about church and Christianity and Jesus, because we've done all, I mean, there's points in our lives when we have all done this, and in one area or another, if not our whole, you know, the whole way we're living, our whole lifestyle has gotten off kilter at different times. Or maybe your lifestyle is great except for this one thing, and in that one thing you're a hypocrite because you say you're forgiving but you're not. You really couldn't witness to certain people because you have contempt for them, and that's bad. There's so many things that would hold us back from being perfect. So let's all admit we're not perfect and that we have room to grow, and let's stop focusing on our negatives. That's another thing. The more we focus on not doing something, the more we do it. And that is real. I mean, I'm talking about in my own life. The more I focus on I need to stop doing something, the more it's in my mind and I think about doing it. And Paul talks about that in the Word, that the law, when you focus on fulfilling the law was to show us where we do wrong, and it always begets more sin. Because he says, when the law said do not covet, I found that I coveted even more. Because before he didn't even realize he was doing it. And then when he did, it was like he kept doing it. So we tend to focus on all the things that are wrong in our life, whether it's sin or whether it's a need or a problem, and we talk about the problem, we talk about the need, instead of talking about our Savior and the King of Kings and Lord of Lords and His power, and praising Him and worshiping Him and letting Him inhabit our praise, where He transforms us in His presence. We are transformed. So that's just don't be living a nightmare.